Welcome back to our final lecture on becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own consulting business. In this 10th and final session, we're going to talk about the real deal, running the business day to day, and what happens next. You've done the hard work of setting everything up, and now it's time to steer the ship. So, what's next on your journey? First things first, let's be realistic. Your project duration will vary. Every engagement is different. More importantly, it takes time to stabilize your business's income and expenses. This isn't an overnight success story. It's a marathon. One of the first major milestones you'll hit is figuring out your baseline operational costs. Once I was able to stabilize the minimum business expenses required, regardless of whether I was billing a client or not, that gave me a clear picture. It gave me a solid estimate of how much money I absolutely needed to keep in my business bank account at all times. This is your safety net, your operational fund. Let's talk about a big part of those expenses for many consultants: travel. Travel expenses are often a major factor in your overall business costs. You might be flying to client sites, staying in hotels, and paying for meals. The tricky part is that you usually won't get reimbursed for these expenses immediately. Clients might pay you back in 30 days, or sometimes even longer. This creates a cash flow challenge. So, it really becomes a question of balancing your credit card usage wisely. You'll be fronting the money, so you need to manage your credit limits and payment cycles carefully to avoid interest charges and keep your cash flow healthy. Don't let your travel reimbursements become a source of financial stress. Plan for that delay. Now, let's move on to a critical aspect of running your business: payroll. Even if you're the only employee, you are still on payroll. And there are two incredibly important things you must remember. First, always run your payroll ahead of time. You absolutely cannot pay yourself or any other employees after the end of a quarter for work done within that quarter. Why? Because doing so will completely mess up your tax calculations. It creates a nightmare for your quarterly tax filings and can lead to serious complications with the IRS. So, mark your calendar, set reminders, and make payroll a priority before the quarter officially closes. Don't procrastinate on paying yourself. The second point about payroll is just as crucial. Remember to pay your payroll taxes ahead of the due date. These taxes need to be remitted on time, which is typically by the 15th of the following month, though this can shift slightly depending on weekends and holidays. If you are late, there will be penalties. And trust me, these penalties can add up quickly. The good news is that we live in a digital age. These days, accounting software like QuickBooks often has features that can automate this entire process for you. It can calculate the taxes, handle the filings, and make the payments automatically. I highly recommend using these features to save yourself time and avoid costly mistakes. Set it and forget it, but always double-check that it's working correctly. Okay, payroll is handled. What about your company's accounting books? Keeping your financial records in order is non-negotiable. Here are two key practices to adopt. 1. Reconcile your bank balance regularly. If you're self-employed and you're also the only employee, you must make sure that the money in your bank account matches what your accounting software says you have. This process is called reconciliation. It helps you catch any discrepancies, errors, or even fraudulent transactions early on. How often should you do it? You can probably do it twice a month, especially if you have a steady stream of billings and expenses. If your transaction volume is lower, monthly might be fine. The key is to be consistent. Don't let it pile up. 2. Get comfortable with your financial statements. You need to run your own profit and loss statement, also known as an P&L, and your balance sheet every single quarter. You can generate these reports directly from your accounting software. The P&L shows you your revenues and expenses over a period, telling you if you made a profit or a loss. The balance sheet gives you a snapshot of your company's financial health at a specific point in time, showing your assets, liabilities, and equity. When you do this, remember to track your expenses correctly. Make sure every expense is categorized properly and that you record both the invoice date and the payment date. This level of detail will give you incredible insight into your business's performance. Now, let's zoom out a bit. Being a business owner is about more than just numbers and compliance. You need to enjoy the process. This is your creation, your vision brought to life. Remember your dual role. You are both the owner and the consultant. This means that besides doing the billable work for your clients, you have another constant, ongoing job. You must continuously focus on marketing. You need to be marketing your skills on platforms like LinkedIn, You should be writing professional articles or blog posts to showcase your expertise and build your authority in your field. You need to be reaching out to your contacts, networking, and nurturing relationships. Your next project often comes from the work you do when you are not working on a project. This is the life of an entrepreneur. So, embrace it. Enjoy your new life as a successful entrepreneur. This is a challenging path, but it is incredibly rewarding. You have the freedom, the control, and the opportunity to build something that is truly yours. And as you find your footing and achieve success, remember to share your experience with others. Motivate them to consider the entrepreneurial path. Your story, your struggles, and your triumphs can be the inspiration someone else needs to take that leap of faith. We build a stronger community by lifting each other up. Thank you so much for joining me throughout this entire course. It has been a pleasure sharing my knowledge with you. If you've watched this series on YouTube, I would really appreciate your feedback in the comments below. Let me know what you found helpful and what other topics you'd like to see. For more resources and to stay in touch, you can visit my website at matravikyamur.com. And finally, if you found this course valuable, you can also make a contribution through the site as a way of paying it back. Any support is greatly appreciated and helps me create more content like this. Congratulations on completing the course, and I wish you all the best on your entrepreneurial journey. Thanks for watching.